What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. So this is a Stadia video. They release their news every Tuesday, but I wanted to wait until the new Pro games released today, October 1st, and do a video on those games, just showing you what the Pro games are for October, and also take the opportunity just to talk about Stadia and kind of where it stands right now, my experience with it, and a little bit about competition. So I'm going to have a video coming in the future really soon going over a lot of the mainstream cloud gaming services, what they offer, what they cost, and kind of a video that's really going to help you decide, one, if cloud gaming is even right for you, and two, if it is, what service or services might be the best for you to get into. So that video is going to be coming out really soon, but for this one, I wanted to focus on Stadia. I want to focus on the Pro games for October. I want to talk about the strategy that they have here with the Pro games. I want to talk about the future releases that are coming up and some things on the store. So the games that have come for Pro in October are Celeste, Human Fall Flat, Jotun, Dead by Daylight, Lara Croft, Temple of Osiris, and Super Hot Mind Control. So my thing with the Pro games is I think it's great, and with the $9.99 a month you've got to spend, getting free games is awesome. But I worry that sometimes it's too much, and we've talked about this on the podcast that I do every Saturday with Cloud Gaming Extreme. Make sure you check out their channel and you check out our podcast every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern. But we've talked about it on there before, where having the Pro games is fantastic, but sometimes we feel like we wonder if maybe it would be better if either every month you got a little bit less, and I know that sounds a little bit crazy at first, but sometimes it feels like when they drop an entire load of games, especially if a lot of them are similar and they don't cater to a lot of different people, it's kind of just like a free game overload. And some of us choose not to even claim all of them. Some of us claim all of them and obviously don't have time to play them all. And I like how on like the Epic Game Store or other places where they drop that like 1 or 2 free games a week, it feels like you have more time to check out that free game. So when it comes to the Pro games, I'd almost rather see them doing a weekly drop for the Pro members, where it's like 1 game a week or something like that, where you have more time and more focus on what those free games are. There's going to be plenty of people that would disagree with that strategy, and that's fine. I don't mind getting the mega dump of games every month, but it does feel sometimes like it's a little bit much that gets thrown in there. And also, we're getting to the point where it was 1, 2, 3, 4, now we're getting 5 and 6 games a month, and that kind of trend just... When you look at Stadia's library of games, and even with what's upcoming, they're not going to be able to keep doing that, and we're going to hit a point where they are going to have to probably back down the amount of free games, and then, of course, you're going to have people that are upset by that, as to where if you did either smaller monthly dumps or, preferably for me, 1 or 2 games a week that you could feature and not have to be so locked down. So that's just really for the Pro games and how they're handling that. So let's go over and take a look at the store. So over here on the store, of course, our Pro games are in here, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and claim my games while we're going through this. So Dead by Daylight, we'll grab this. Now, if you're not familiar, also, this is really cool. Something that is really awesome about Stadia is how easy it is to come in here and just claim, and you're good to go. If I wanted to play the game, as you know, I could just click play and we are gone. We are go, and we can play the game. So that's something that Stadia just really has above a lot of other services right now. It's just the convenience and how easy it is. Same thing if you're buying a game. Look how quick I now own that game, at least as long as I'm a Pro member. And we're good to go. So it's super easy to do. There's 6 games to do here. And like I said, I think they're going to have to wind up changing that eventually. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep that up. And a lot of these, honestly, are great. Celeste is a really good game. I have no problem getting this game for free, but it's also dumped with 5 other games. Lara Croft as well. I've played this game a couple of times already. I probably will not play it on here, but the way I am, I pretty much just claim free games. It's what I do. I do the same thing on the Epic Game Store every week, even if it's something I know I'm not going to play. I go in and claim it. But see how quickly, this is one nice feature, how quickly I can go in, and I've now added 6 games 6 more games have been added to my library. Also, I like this new view right here. But see, now, just like that, as a pro member, so that is really cool that all of a sudden I've added all those games into my library. But for me personally, I still feel like these mega just dumps that seem to keep growing and growing, and more games could present a problem in the future. And I feel like each game might get more focus if it wasn't thrown in with all the other games all the time. Besides that, there isn't a lot of news for Stadia right now. They're getting a lot more of the crowd play going on. They're trying to work on more features that Stadia has been promising for a while, but we all know that Stadia has been really slow to roll out their features, and we all know that Google just kind of works at their own pace. As much as we might gripe and we want features faster, we want more AAA games faster, we want games to run better faster, we want ray tracing faster, we want a lot of things quicker for Stadia. But the truth of the matter is, it's just going to get done in whatever time frame that they have planned, and we just got to kind of go along for the ride. Now, any of you that watch the podcast or pay attention to my channel know that I like Stadia a lot, and I want it to succeed. I complain about a lot of its faults. I think it's had a lot of issues growing the game library. The player base is still really bad for me, unless they're doing like a free pro month or 2-month or whatever the case is. If I go into a game that needs to be populated like Destiny 2 or sometimes even Avengers, and I have trouble getting that group together. Ghost Recon Breakpoint is another one where the player base is just really thin. Now, you can go onto Discord and other servers and LFGs and find groups of people, and that's great. But as far as the in-game matchmaking, the ease of just finding some random people to play with can be very difficult, because Stadia really needs to grow that player base. That's where we're at. And of course, to grow the player base, they need the features. They need it working flawlessly, which that's one thing I'll say. The technology that Stadia uses is fantastic. I've never had a complaint about the stream quality. 1080p, 1440p, 4K, and 4K with HDR. I play that way on all kinds of devices in the house. Latency is great. The controller connection to Wi-Fi, fantastic. All of the tech that Stadia has is fantastic. It works great for cloud gaming. It's probably top in the world right now, in my opinion, as far as just the tech goes. Not the games, not how good the games run, because even Avengers was such an example. I have a video on the channel that maybe it's been patched by now. I have to recheck it, but it ran so bad that for me, I just really didn't want to play it on Stadia. But it was the same thing, for Ghost Recon Breakpoint as well. When it launched, it ran horrible. But now, I actually really enjoy the game on Stadia. They've optimized it, it's been patched, and you have to understand these ports coming over sometimes just don't get perfect the first time. So there's issues there. I want to see game performance get straightened out and do even better. That's just one of the big gripes I've had, is just game performance, and making sure that we can get with the advertised power and with what Stadia is supposed to be able to do. I want to experience a lot more 60 frames per second, a lot more of that being able to be done at 1440p and 4K, and I think that they can get there, and it's not all on Stadia's side. Some of that is on the developers. Now, Stadia is also getting, when it gets ports of games, the console ports rather than the PC ports, which makes sense. Stadia is basically a console in the cloud, so it does tend to get the console version, quote unquote, of ports of games. And that's something I have found out through a lot of comparisons. And I have a lot more comparison videos coming of Stadia versus Xbox and Stadia versus PC, GeForce Now and other things. Can't wait for Luna so that we can start checking that out. So Stadia has a ways to go. I'm also not a super fan of the business model, the $10 a month and then buying the games for $60. I get that we do this some on consoles and we pay for Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or whatever the case may be, and then we'll still go and purchase games. But when it comes to cloud, people are just so used to a subscription-based model, which is something that Microsoft is leaning towards more, in Amazon with Luna, and it just seems that people are more used to buying those games on console more than they are on cloud, if that makes more sense. It just seems that people are more used to and more comfortable with subscriptions with cloud-based services like Netflix and everything else. Same thing with gaming, and I think that's what Amazon's thinking with Luna. And we're going to dive into all that more in the future video of all these cloud services compared that we're going to talk about. So with Stadia, it does have a ways to go, but the technology is there. The games, as far as streaming them, is really good. We just need to see better optimization. I want to see when Gen 2 is going to hit. We have games like Cyberpunk coming that are going to have fantastic ray tracing on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, GeForce Now. All these places are going to have ray tracing capable versions of these games, and Stadia can't do that right now. So I don't even think Cyberpunk has a release date on Stadia yet because of that. It would be the only platform that you would be playing it with downgraded graphics. And a lot of players aren't going to care about that, but some are, and the developers might. So Stadia's got to get to a point where it can at least compete with all the next gen that's coming out, and they need to do that really soon. And they might need to tweak the business model a little bit of how the subscriptions are working, and we want to see things like Uplay and EA Play and things like that come to the service. So that's just a little bit of my thoughts on Stadia right now. It's mostly good things going on, but they do it at their own pace. There is a lot of work to do. The tech is there, but the games, the optimization, and just some of the cohesiveness just isn't there yet. And we definitely could use a UI overhaul when it comes to the home and the store. So thanks a lot for coming and check out this video, guys. A little bit of talk about Stadia, free games for October, and a future more in-depth cloud video coming for you really soon. So thanks again for coming and check it out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, ring that notification bell, and leave me your comments down below. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.